Today here over at OEGM, we're going to be taking a look at Giant Sparrow's BAFTA award-winning masterpiece that is What Remains of Edith Finch. And just before the video even begins, I'm just going to say you should play Edith Finch without a doubt, because simply put, it is bloody brilliant and you will not regret the time you put into this game. What Remains of Edith Finch is a narrative masterpiece showing how truly deep and declamatory gaming can make us as a simple viewer feel. What Remains of Edith Finch on the pure basic surface layer is about us as the player controlling and seeing the narrative unfold from the eyes of Edith Finch, as she plans to find out how every one of her family members has died due to the curse that inevitably consumes each member of the family. What Remains of Edith Finch is without a doubt my game of the generation, and having only played it as of recently, is single-handedly my favourite game I've already played this year. And diving deeper into the game, it all becomes more and more abundantly clear why this narrative masterpiece is truly so great. In many ways, the fact that What Remains of Edith Finch is only 120 minutes long further beckons the journey you and Edith have going through this game as you go through this emotional roller coaster, unravelling and learning of Finch's each and final soliloquy. The game isolates you and narrates, so each story played out makes you feel something on a much more deep and personal level that for many hits home in a much deeper way that many other forms of media simply can't. They do this, and by they I mean Giant Sparrow, make you take control of the characters for each and individual action, so you almost have a sense of accountability, leaving you wondering if you could have done something else to prevent the following actions. What Remains of Edith Finch deliberately does this to make you as the player see through the eyes of what the people you are controlling have had to go through to reach their final actions. What Remains of Edith Finch, even up until its last on-screen minutes, is a truly beautiful yet harrowing spectacle of how deep and impactful any form of media can make us feel. From the beautifully handcrafted soundtrack that can simply absorb the players whilst going through this story, to the ornate yet tragic world you go through with Edith. What Remains of Edith Finch is simply a telling of tragic stories with no real happy ending even up until the end, where we see stories of a drug-dependent user not being able to cope with the real world he lives in, to seeing the spiral of them and being in control of his final steps up until he takes his own life. What Remains of Edith Finch, without a doubt, is one of my favourite games I've played throughout my years of gaming. With its beautiful story, world and soundtrack, there is truly nothing like What Remains of Edith Finch, and certainly not a game where it will leave such a deep impact, as I'm sure many can relate to something within these characters and stories that are being shown to us as the player. I've tried to condense into why I think Edith Finch is such a great game in under 5 minutes, where truth be told I could speak about this game for 3+ hours, talking about its deeper and underlining meanings, talking about the story and what really made me feel so passionate about the game. That being said, this has been Jack from OEGM signing out, and believe me, you will not regret playing Edith Finch.